I'm Margarita Melville, and I worked here in Guatemala many, many years ago, from 1954 to 1967. And in that time, I got to know a lot of people. I taught at a school. I've been back, this is my third time, I think. I can't quite remember all the times I've been back. But this time, I'm seeing people that I hadn't seen for 44 years. Some of them were really quite young. They were my students at the school where I taught, and we did projects together. It's been a very emotional trip and very exciting to see how many of them tell me that they are doing what they're doing because they received some level of inspiration from my efforts then. It's very gratifying, and I would like to share with the people, teachers here today, how important their role is in people's lives.
My name is Tom Melville. I'm Margarita's husband and have been for the last 43, 44 years. Maybe it's 45, but sometimes feel like it's 45 rather than 43. I guess I've come back 3 times. I came here for the first time in 1957 as a Catholic priest. I was asked to leave in 1967 as a Catholic priest, and I decided to retire from the evangelization business at that point. I was asked to leave the country by my religious superiors, by the American ambassador, by the Guatemalan government, because they didn't like the kind of conversations we were having with people who were very much on the left. And they felt that we were using our position as religious leaders to influence unduly the cream of Guatemalan society, its youth. So we left very sadly.
I came just immediately after the overthrow of Arbenz, and Castillo Armas had come in, and I was really very proud. I said, boy, I'm going to the first country that got rid of communism, and Americans helped to do it, and the ambassador was involved in this. This is great. So I came down here and I started to see, wait a minute, what was Arbenz doing? Land reform? Oh, it's the United Fruit Company that was objecting to the land reform because they were going to lose their workers. Oh, so that's what Arbenz was doing, changing the structures of the country for a more just system. I said, wait a minute, am I proud of this? And I began to talk to people. I began to inquire more about Arbenz, to read about it, to say, wait, I think I'm changing my perspective here. I think I didn't really have all the facts. I think there's more to this story than what we've been told. And then as time went on, we started hearing rumors that there were Green Berets in Guatemala. Where? Down towards the coast. You don't see them out in the open, but they're training the Guatemalan military. You mean we're still involved in overthrowing a system that's looking for justice? That you change your perspective. It depends where your information is coming from.
The thing was that in the Archbishop of Guatemala City was named Rosel Ariano, and he was very much influential in the overthrow of Arbenz too. He, on religious grounds, you know, these are communists, they're bad for the country, this kind of thing. And so, reading the history of the church, not only in Guatemala but in Latin America, the church has backed revolution any number of times when it's in favor of the church. And you know, up until the revolution and or the independence movements all through Latin America in the 1820s, the church was the largest landowner in the whole Americas. You know, it's wealthy and it had plantations just like the landowners do today. And so we said, you know, here we are working for the church as an institution. And here we are representing the United States government because they had what was the name of the student groups that they brought down where the the students would work for 2 or 3 years. What's the program?
Peace Corps?
The Peace Corps. You gotta forgive me, my memory is going in both languages. And so the Peace Corps was getting a good reputation for the United States, you know, and we felt that they didn't understand what was going on. And we represented as well the U.S. government. Okay, the Peace Corps is there, and the Catholic Church is here, and the church is keeping the lid on. So we thought, well, here we are representing the two most oppressive institutions in the country. The Catholic Church, the hierarchy, and Rosel Arellano was replaced by a man who was worse. His name was Casariego. He became a cardinal after a while. But do we sit around and have people, particularly, well, we could go to any plantation we wanted to and be treated like kings down in Guatemala City. Priests that really hadn't opened their minds to it would be invited by the rich, very rich, to come to and eat at their table, you know. So we shouldn't be doing this. We're making them think that our faith is on their side.
But you know, we also had the inspiration of other church people, like we were talking this morning about Dom Elder Câmara and the kinds of things that he initiated in Brazil for greater justice. So there were other people like us who were wanting to make change in the way we approach these issues. So you get support from one side and you begin to see reality in a different way when you are exposed to the people themselves who are going through this. One of the things that used to bother us was seeing how they would load up whole families in open trucks to carry them down to the coast instead of putting them in buses. It was like cattle and being used not like people, but like things. And getting sick down there. And if you get sick, well, you just get thrown out. That's all there is to it. So there was a lot of, we were really inspired by the idea of justice, social justice, and Christianity from the point of pure Christianity, not the hierarchical structure that has been formed, but rather the crux of it. So that's an inspiration of a word, the crux of it, La Cruz.
We used to say our problem was that we used to take the gospel seriously, and the implication being that the hierarchy particularly didn't take the gospel seriously, you know. I mean, because we got in trouble for even talking about it, you know. We were, for instance, there was this massacre at Pansos, where the army came in. And this whole thing was planned, that they were going to wipe out a whole village. The army came in, and because they were landowners that were claiming the land that these people lived on, they wanted to throw them off. And so the mayor said, we're having somebody from Guatemala come up and you can talk to them and tell them what the problem is. So the whole village came in. And when they came in, the army came out of the woods and they gunned them all down. This was in Pansos. This was covered by Newsweek.
Yeah, this was the beginning of when the violence really got.
But anyway, the Archbishop of Guatemala City ordered that the people wanted a mass for these people. There was a big uprising in Guatemala City. And this is all, the photos of it are in Newsweek if you ever want to look it up. I've got the date on it because I've used the information. But the people wanted a mass in remembrance in Guatemala City, not in Pansos, for them, and they couldn't get any. And the Archbishop said, "No priests; they're forbidden to go and celebrate this mass." This was his thinking. Ron Hennessy from here went down and he celebrated the mass in one of the main churches in Guatemala City. But this is the kind of guy he was. He didn't pay any attention to the big shots that called the shots. He decided for himself. He was an unflappable guy. He got into more trouble. I mean, even here, the soldiers would come in and pick up a bunch of people and take them off. Well, they knew that it was going to be. He'd go after them. Where are these people you've taken them? Oh, we let them go. Where did you let them go? Where are they now? It's none of your business, Padre. It is my business. But he'd do it without any emotion. He was just unflappable, and he just kept confronting the people, confronting them. And of course he had his own problems with religion too, in the sense that not just with the Archbishop, it was easy with the Archbishop, but with Almighty God. He'd go in chapel and say, what the hell, don't you see what's happening? I mean, how can God allow this to be going on? I remember that John Paul II at one point said, I don't understand. I agree with God as taking care of all of us and watching out for us, but what I don't understand is why he allowed Hitler to behave the way he did. Well, I mean, yeah, that's fine to feel bad about what Hitler does, but there's a lot of little Hitlers around too, and you ought to make a little bit of noise about them instead of standing on their side.